I had to sneeze, and for once it wasn't because of the cat. Tito-kun was nowhere to be found, though he was no doubt chasing his own tail somewhere. With all these clues giving more questions than answers, I felt the same way, like I was running in circles. It was more than just a feeling. Toshio and I did a jog around the mansion for secret entrances and exits, but aside from a scarcely cleaned privy, we came up empty. I had thought about paying Toshiaki Mukai's room a visit, but Toshio assured me that the room was locked and wasn't likely to hold any evidence besides. I was getting anxious. We were losing daylight, and I didn't know where Masashi was. Hatch had given us the slip. And then there was Sadao, who the rebels wanted dead for the crime of being mistaken for me.
When they saw that he was a member of the Shinsengumi in his memory, he became the obvious target, especially since you do not carry yourself as a samurai would.
Thanks for the compliment, I sighed. But how bad can our luck be? We've got a demon and a rebellion to put down. I took a seat on the bench beneath the towering figure of Lady Justice. She was far less imposing when her shadow kept you cool from the sun.
The rebellion is a non-spiritual matter that doesn't concern you.
Toshio looked up at the statue and shook his head.
Ideas can be as dangerous as an army against Satsuma-sama's reign. Foreign laws and religions can uproot a people from underneath.
I wasn't so sure. What were tax collectors and priests compared to a legion of samurai? Were ideas really that powerful?
Tetsuo-san.
Toshio's eyes and mine met.
When you were wounded from your battle with Jun, it was not by random chance that I set horse and carriage east to Tonogasha.
You're getting orders on where to move us from Yamato, aren't you? Back in the Lion Temple, the Emperor promised me complete freedom in how I went about this grand undertaking across Hyuga. I should have known better. Toshio was no doubt giving him reports of every move we made. I felt a collar around my neck. Here, I thought I was a dog without a leash.
Gomenasai.
Toshio apologized.
But for the past decade, radicals have adopted foreign and blasphemous ideas. Democracy, parliaments, sacraments. They are like a disease. We knew the source was somewhere within Hyuga.
It wasn't often that I put my faith into others, and it took Toshio for me to remember why. I hated being betrayed, being deceived, and being used. I thought we had grown closer, sleuthing about the mansion together, but I was wrong, and I was angry. So that's how it is. Just another secret to keep from the clueless Ronin. I hope you and Satsuma-sama got your laughs. I stood from my seat and secured my katana. Because I'm not playing your game anymore. Get away from me! Toshio's eyes went wide, but he bowed and took his leave. His steps were silent, and left me to the echoes of my own words. But getting people to be honest with me, why, on this island, did that feel like pulling out teeth?
Take it you hit a, rough spot in the mystery?
Hatch arrived with an unreadable expression. I couldn't read it because his face was hidden behind the giant barrel he was carrying. Which mystery? You're going to need to be more specific. I couldn't hide the weariness in my voice. My head was pounding from all this thinking, from piecing together last night's events to uncovering this new rebellion. And of course, Toshio's deception didn't help my mood any.
There's more than one. Well, all the better then.
Hatch dropped his load and slammed his fist into his open palm. He winced from the pain of his bandaged wound.
Sadao came up with a plan. We're building a raft to get us out of here.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Or rather, I just didn't want to. You're telling me Sadao isn't tied up. He got his own wife open, Hatch. Or did you forget that?
I didn't forget, Tetsuo. I forgave. He told me he wanted to repent for what he did. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I believed him.
Hatch looked me in the eyes for what felt like the first time.
He reminded me of someone I thought I knew.
That single sentence hit me like a kick to the ribs. It was a familiar feeling, but an old one. The last person I had disappointed like this was Sensei. You never knew me, Hatch. The Tetsuo he knew was some manner of samurai who fought with justice and for a noble cause. But the real Tetsuo refined his killing technique against unarmed men and women, and for coin, not honor. I was never worthy of being your friend. It was a truth I couldn't say out loud, so I left Hatch to his own thoughts. I had to find Sadao before he left the island, or this trial was going to be cut shorter than Hatch's new neckline. I sprinted out towards the dock, spurred on by the setting sun. It was all too easy for my mind's eye to picture Sadao rowing halfway into the horizon. Whereas Hatch tended to see the best in people, I saw the worst. Turned out we were both blind. I found Sadao waiting for me at the edge of the pier, with his katana in hand. That unflinching stance, that peaceful aura, he was ready to fight, and he was prepared to die. The sun was behind him, still a bright white and yellow at the center. From it and across the water came a rippling beam that outlined his figure with an angelic shine. No, with his sunken eyes he appeared ghostly, as if already an acquaintance of death. Sadao Hamasaki held his katana out and to the side. Though he looked sickly, his legs were firmly planted, and there wasn't so much as a slouch in his shoulders. If I took an ex-Shinsengumi lightly, well, that'd be an easy murder mystery to solve.
I knew you'd come.
He spoke as I made my first step onto the docks. The planks were firm, but the path was narrow. In a sword fight, there'd be no room for maneuvering. Less movement reduced my options, making it more difficult to exploit the weaknesses of a traditional samurai's style. And with the sun in my eyes, it wasn't by accident that Sadao chose to fight here. He shifted his blade out towards me, front and center. It was a much safer and balanced stance than the one he had used against me at the White Peach.
I'll give you this warning. I am a far more capable fighter outside of full kabuki attire.
I didn't need words. I needed the feel of stingray skin in my hands and the heat of the handle. Unlike Sensei's katana, Jun's hilt was heavily worn and always warm to the touch. After days on this so-called vacation, on an island that shouldn't exist, by a foreign lord playing host to a murder mystery that got more complex by the minute. After all that, I was more than happy to swing my sword.